So we don't even know what this world's going to look like in 5 minutes, let alone 20 years.
Yeah.
And do we want to wish upon this child who could have all of the experiences in the world in this beautiful skin sack of ours, safety, comfort and certainty? Oh my God, what a snore fest. Like, we're here for life.
Yeah, we're
right?
here for the richness of life.
We're here for life, and we don't bring children in to create a sense of comfort and certainty and safety. Hello, Quanta folks, and welcome to Season 4 of Alchemising Education, our little sister podcast for Fark the Shoulds. I'm Jodi from Quanta Mama.
Oh my God, it's so good to be back. And I'm Kerri from Quanta Mama.
And wherever you're joining us, whenever you're joining us, we are coming in fresh after a long break.
Yeah, a well-deserved break though, Jodes.
Oh,
and I
absolutely.
think, we're back with lots of gusto.
We love gusto.
We love gusto.
Gusto's awesome. So today we want to actually do a progress report, don't we?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I mean, obviously we don't always want to look back into the past too often, but sometimes it can be a really, really helpful place to go when we want to just sort of reflect on some decisions that we've made in life and go, well, did it work?
Well, there was something I was listening to the other day and we had a bit of a chat about that, and it was this woman who we've followed her work for some time, and she was just essentially confirming what we're already doing with our kids. And I don't feel that I need validation, but it is nice to see what we're doing reflected by other people as like a really intentional and I think accurate course of action to support our kids in these wild times, and they are wild times.
They are.
Each day is like a new exciting thing that's going on worldwide.
Yes.
And I think that we can get caught up in the drama of that. And so we need to stay steady with, I guess, the long view and our foundational decisions.
Yes.
And, I read a lot of the noise that people are experiencing when I look at forums and see what's happening out in, say, the alternate ed or homeschooling community, or even just people who are curious about homeschooling and really feeling the feels about how shite the traditional schooling model is right now for kids and the dissonance. And so holding steady within that. And so we thought, you know what, let's just have a little progress report. We'll do a midterm check-in.
Yeah, midterm report.
Midterm report. We've been doing this for now 4 to 5 years. We're into our 5th year.
5 years.
Yeah, so 5th year. And, this is an experiment that's constantly evolving. Happy to use our kids as the canaries. And I think they're really flying. There are moments where I think they're not. But for the most part, I think they're flying. And so I really just wanted to reflect on where we've come from, how we've essentially, I think, self-taught in terms of being homeschooling parents.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I still identify as a reluctant homeschooler. I say we homeschool and then I kind of say, well, we have the kids at home is actually the technical term. Yeah. But we have kind of fallen into a really beautiful rhythm now. There's an intentional rhythm that we're meant to do, and then there's the rhythm that actually happens.
Yes.
And so that's okay. They kind of, work in beautiful polarity where one sometimes has more traction than the other. And so be it. And we just kind of live our lives as best we can, trying to extract learning opportunities at some point during the week. But tell me, what came up for you as you started thinking about your mid-year report and how you're going as a parent?
So much. I
mean, where are you sitting in the grade scale, Keza?
I reckon A+. No, I'm
wow.
kidding.
No, go for gold.
Go for gold.
A+.
Why not?
Happy days.
Well, no, that's not realistic, and it's not necessary to even really say that. But, I just feel like what's been really beautiful to witness is the unprogramming of ourselves from society's expectations, and how when we role model that, our kids are able to do the same. They are able to go with what resonates for them, what feels right in their bodies, and that's a beautiful journey. That's a journey that, when I was talking to my son the other day about it, he was sort of saying how, even from a problem-solving perspective, at school you're told how to problem solve.
Yeah.
Like, you're even given the formula on how to problem solve.
Yeah.
Whereas one of the things he's loved about homeschooling is the fact that he can get to do things his way. and he can learn his way, and then he can keep refining it his way, and he feels like he's in control of it. And when I look at that and I think as adults, don't we love that as well? I think
We don't love not getting it right,
Of
but we
course
definitely love, I think, the discovery within that.
And the sense of, I know this probably isn't the right word, but control over it.
Yeah.
So it's more the autonomy that we
Oh,
have
like a
over it.
manipulation of it, you know. There's that extra, I mean, I think it's like an authority frequency that comes in that helps us problem solve. But when we're actually left in the deep end with encouragement, but essentially under our own steam, we don't have that manipulation. And we get to own the whole experience, which is rich.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's really good. And I think the other thing I've really reflected on is the letting go of the control of his learning overall. Like, you know, we have so many people ask us about what programs should I follow? How do I do it? What does a day look like?
Yep.
And it's relevant and it's fair to ask those questions, especially when in society we are so used to being, you know, shown how to do things and
Yes.
given all the tools and, you know, shown all the methodologies that are out there. But when you let go of all of that and you kind of go, actually, it feels good not to be on someone else's timeline or someone else's curriculum or someone else's guidance. It's really that we've discovered it together for ourselves, and that letting go process is really hard because it's not what we're comfortable with. But when I did that and I allowed for that, you know, I haven't looked back, and I know, you know, I know my son thanks me for it all the time.
So I guess what I want to say then within that space is that we could sit here, you know, 4 or 5 years ago and say, trust and surrender. You need to allow your kids to discover their own love of learning. I feel really confident in that now because we're sitting here 5 years later and our kids are evidence of that working. And we also are, I think, mostly on the other side of that experience of falling into that trust and surrender because the free fall sucks balls. Like, it's hard. And there's a story in there about providing as a parent as well. And so this idea that somehow you're leaving your kids to fend for themselves and the big hungry tiger might come along and gobble them up. And so there's this feeling...
we might get into trouble.
That's right. Well, and the trouble thing as well. And so again, it's that authority parental frequency that sits outside of the family unit. And so knowing where that parental authority comes in and where it's appropriate, like within our household, we still have a parent authority.
Yeah, of course.
Because they're living at home and they're children and they still need some help with, you know, I think
Boundaries
sometimes, guidance and boundaries and maybe sometimes just a little bit of soundboarding in terms of, you know, they get to sort of talk through what's going on for them.
Yes.
And we don't solve the problems, but we do listen to them. We say, in your situation, I might choose to do X, Y, Z. I know that we've talked about before that we use muscle testing in our family, so we use a lot of whole body muscle testing, and that works extremely well. Like my eldest right now is, I mean, he's the equivalent of year 12, but he's found his niche, and so his studies are basically all about this niche that he's fallen into.
Yeah.
And he'll be turning 18 later this year. And so he's thinking about, okay, what does he want to do? Does he want to go back overseas? And there's a lot of uncertainty, I think, right now in the world. And that might peter out or it might not, right? Like we'll be able to sit here at, you know, December this year and go, well, that didn't turn out as we expected, or it did, okay? So that will just be what it is, and I'm not looking to manipulate that outcome. I hope for the best, but, you know, prepare for the worst. And so within that, I was talking to him about the fact that I wouldn't be in a hurry to go overseas. You know, I see the overseas thing as like a funnel. It's where you will be captured for requirements to do with digital IDs and all manner of things. And if you're all for it, then, you know, go travelling freely. If you have a different opinion, then you maybe have a different opinion. You need to think about your options.
Yes.
So part of that conversation was, I said, in my values system and where I'm at, you know, now being 50, because, you know, I've hit the 1/3 of my life marker.
Yes.
Not the halfway point, the 1/3. Where I'm at, I've done some travel. I feel really blessed to have had that experience without the pressure of what I see as a bit of a shit show going on in the background. And so it's not unchecked off my bucket list, but for him, you know, moving from 17 to 18, wanting to go experience the world, I can feel that. And so what I said to him was, ultimately you have to decide. And so go and get all your information. Interestingly, he's calling in all these people that are affirming to him it's completely safe and fine to travel and it'll be no big deal and he won't get trapped anywhere and yada, 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 right? Interesting. So I'm observing that. But what also has happened is he said, it's all right, Mum, I'll muscle test it. And I said, to be honest, when we take you to the airport, if you do decide to go, I will be hugging you like it's the last time I see you, because I want you to know that I'm okay with all of it. Like if it works out that you get stuck over there or you suddenly fall in love and meet someone and never come back anytime soon, maybe because you can't, maybe because you don't want to, whatever, right? I will be so grateful for our 18 years together and I release you into your experience. I mean, I'm not so conceited to think that I have any control of keeping him anyway.
No, that's right.
But I want him to know he has my blessing to go live his life. And that has been, I think, one of the most powerfully evolutionary experiences the last 5 years has gifted us.
Yes.
You know, I've always been pretty okay with the idea of my kids going off and living their life. And I've also been okay, and I've talked to them about this because, you know, we've had some deaths in the family, that I need to be okay with them dying. Otherwise I hold them too tight and I don't want that.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to push them under the bus, but I need to be okay that they will take what I regard as risks in life.
Yep.
And so, and that's all part of their learning. Like that's kind of I actually celebrate that.
Yes.
I celebrate that. So, you know, where am I as a parent and how does that then change things in terms of supporting our kids with their learning? Because obviously that's my eldest and it filters down to the other three. Is that I have really given myself grace. I've definitely farked the shoulds.
Yes.
For my youngest. So he is 10. He's moving towards 11 later this year. And he is now asking to learn to read. He's been looking at books. He's consuming audio books like an absolute mofo.
Yes.
But he now wants to read. And he could easily just be given a diagnosis of dyslexia or whatever, right? And I'm like, it doesn't empower him. It doesn't help him. It doesn't make him, you know, feel calmer about it. He is doing his best to, I think, alchemize like a shame feeling about it. He feels self-conscious.
Yes.
And self-consciousness is a great motivator.
It can, absolutely.
The shame thing is where it cripples people, right?
Yes.
So I don't want to, again, a bit like our eldest, I don't want to take away from his experiences. And so he had a moment, what was this, about 2 months ago, and this is where the big shift happened. And he was at his ninja class and they were given an assignment to write some stuff down, right? And you can imagine he's a fiery bull ant anyway, right? He's a high energy kid, and he had that feeling of what it was like to feel visible. In fact, no one noticed. There was, 25 kids in the class, and no one noticed. But and it wasn't a big part of the class, but he felt that visibility. And so it was interesting as a parent holding that space to not amplify what could be shame and just keep it in the self-conscious zone. And so that self-conscious zone then became something that I was using as a prod, going, are you invested now? Do you want to learn? Like, you're the only one holding this up. So you get to decide. I said, look at what you do at Ninja. You learn the most complex physics defying moves I've ever seen.
yeah,
Like I couldn't in my wildest dreams do that with my body. And you're learning this and you're falling into trust and you're falling into just surrender and you're doing the discomfort when you fall and hurt yourself. Like and you get up and do it again. Reading's just something else like that.
Yeah, perfect. Beautiful.
And so for parents out there who are not in this space, this is why I love our Take the Leap program.
Yes.
Because we concentrate on the parents.
We do.
The kids will be okay, won't they, Kez?
And this is the thing. I think as parents, we feel like we have to do everything for them and we have to motivate them and we have to be directing them and guiding them. But you know what? The kids know intuitively already what it is that they need. And as you say, pushing them into things before they're ready, shaming them because they're not doing what other kids their age is doing is really damaging to themselves. And that gets carried through, as we all know, because everyone's got their own stories from childhood traumas of whatever sort it might be.
Yep.
It gets carried into adulthood.
That's right.
And this opportunity that you presented, your fourth one, because I know there's been a lot of criticism along the way. There's been a lot of people going, oh, you should be sitting him down and reading.
Yeah.
And you just went, nope, he's not ready. I'm only going to be pushing him further. It's going to be an ugly, interaction on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So you have taken the long game.
Yeah.
And I think that is far
The very
more
long game.
The very long game. And the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The uncomfortable long game. The impolite long game, according to society.
Yes.
So much. But when the time is right, these kids will be ready to learn. And this is possibly when I was talking to my son about this the other day. He said everyone graduates in year 12 at the same time.
Yeah.
But they're all actually at different stages.
Of course they
Even
are.
when they graduate at year 12, or the year 6 for some. But, so he said, everyone is an individual.
Yeah.
And treating them as an individual rather than assuming that everyone's going to get to the same outcome by the end of their school journey is not realistic and actually not fair on the individual.
Of course it's not. Well, especially when it actually gifts them, I think, certain beliefs about themselves that are down regulatory and don't help them be better versions of themselves and, hamper their creativity and their desire to grow.
And that I've got the other side of the story in my family as well, where the school system actually took all of that away from them. And to then find their sense of self again and to find what they love to learn about has taken a very long time. And 3-4 years out of school, 3 years out of school, and still
That's gone fast.
Still challenged by the fact that now studying in a topic that one is really interested in, but still challenged by assessment tasks and all of those sort of things. So those things do carry through that shame, that fear, that worry. I'm not going to get it right. I'm going to get a bad score, or I'm not going to pass. I mean, that carries through with you in all aspects of your life. So I can just say I'm enormously proud of the approach that you've taken, and to know that he's now ready. He will do it like that. He will pick it up so fast.
It's funny how often people say that, and that might be true, but so far it's not. I guess what I want to do is sit here and be an example of a parent that's playing the long game. And yes, when we zoom out, and perhaps this time next year he'll be reading novels, and I hear that all the time, and people say that to go, oh, well, that's great, you've given him the space, and he'll just pick it up straight away, and before you know it, and I see it in the forums and the chats of these parents looking to soothe these other parents around that, and I'm like, I actually don't even give a shit about that, to be honest. My primary function here is to hold space and keep curating a love of learning. That's what I care about. So if the reading thing is still hard and it is still challenging in a year's time, then that's what it is for him.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
the opportunity is there, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So maybe he will, maybe he won't. I have 2 kids that are voracious readers.
Yes.
And so from a, penis measuring exercise as a parent, I trot them out as my examples of good humans that I've done well at.
Yes.
That's my parenting tick that I've done well. And then, we use the other 2 as case studies, but that's okay. I'm unattached to the ego of it because I want to push back against people that even need to find that comfort for themselves. I think when we assure each other as parents to say, little Johnny will pick it up fast, and it's for our own comfort because we're the one challenged by it. But foundational beliefs are what have supported me so well, and I love foundational beliefs. So my foundational belief, well, the first one really to get activated within this space is my word is my bond.
Yes.
And so if my word is my bond, and then the next thing I say is I just want to cultivate a love of learning, a lifelong love of learning, then my word is my bond as a foundational platform then, and me sitting there going, okay, I just want to cultivate a love of learning, that's all I need. So then the rest of it falls into place, and I don't even need that appeasement of, little Johnny will pick it up before you know it. Yeah. I'm unattached to the outcome.
Yes.
I'm just going to keep providing it. Occasionally I get shirty at him because he'd much rather sit around listening to audiobooks. And I go, come on, you need to do something. Show me that you want to learn this. And so then he'll pick it back up. I can see that he just doesn't love it. Like he's not lit up by it yet. He's choosing the books we read and things.
Yeah.
So within that space as parents, like even when you do play the long game, it can still feel uncomfortable and ugly, but not quite the intensity that it was.
Yes.
I think not caring as much, or not putting it's not that I don't care, but I don't put as much stock in other people's opinions on how it should be done.
Absolutely. And I think along with that, not just other people's opinions, but our own expectations.
Sure.
Because, part of our upbringing has been that there is a certain expectation around how we raise families and what we provide for our children and what we expect from them. And that expectation can be really, really damaging to the kids. And I think about my son and what he's doing now for work. I didn't even think of that as a job for him. It wasn't even something that I factored in.
He's just having fun, but he happens to be getting paid for it.
He just happens to be getting paid for it. Now, he's not getting paid massive amounts of money, but he's loving it. Yeah. He's not focused on the money. He's not focused. Well, he is focused on a dream. He does have a career within this job, but he is just doing what he loves. Now, I know when he was at school, because for those of you who may be new listening to us, he stopped at the start of year 9, and he was like, I don't know what I want to do. There was so much pressure. So much pressure about what am I going to do? What am I going to study? What university course do I want to? There's just so much focus around career and further education, and he kind of just was feeling that pressure gently below, and he's sort of found his own way through that. Now, had he stayed in the school system, he wouldn't be where he was today. There's no way.
Well, it's impossible maybe it's possible, but I would say it's highly unlikely because the school system was mutually exclusive to his passion.
Yes.
And he's working in his passion, which is what all the self-help gurus would be recommending to all us lost 50 and 40-year-olds and whatever, right?
Find
who are having
something that you love and you don't work a day in your life.
Correct, that's right. And he happens to be doing it. And for some reason, sometimes I think we have that limiting program. I don't think it's our voice, but I think somewhere in there we say, not really allowed to work in your passion.
Yeah.
That's like a pipe dream that we all hang on to as a potential, but it's not, you don't actually get to, because then you're not being serious about life. He's rocking it.
He's absolutely rocking it. And I think there is, from a parent's perspective, we see the big picture. We can see some of the challenges in their life. We can see how, it's going to be financially really tough on many young people going through now. It's just ridiculously tough what they're up against. And so we then project onto their dreams what we think they should be doing, where it's going to actually help keep them or keep us comfortable and keep them safe.
Yeah.
And, and I just kind of think that then takes them away from following what it is that they feel is right for them, because they become too responsible too early almost.
Well,
they kind of go, I can't do that job because it doesn't pay well. I mean, how many times do we hear from kids about their families, about music as an example, or as an artist, you can't do that. You won't earn enough.
For what though?
Well, exactly, right? And so what I'm finding with my son, what he's learning is to live within his means.
Yeah.
And he's starting to dream about things that are going to be in his means. So he may not have the high-flying career that's paying, you know, whatever amount of salary. He's going, okay, if this is my career that I love doing, it means that I actually can't have X, Y, and Z, or maybe I need to revisit how I do things. You become more resourceful. You get more creative in your thinking. You know, so you can do these things, and it's so I go back to that example about music and arts, and it's the parents that put the squash on those dreams and those ideas, and then the kids feel this enormous pressure to be doing something else because they think it's just about the money and about safety and about their parents feeling okay. And, you know, I just kind of go, well, here's an example, and your son's going to follow in the same footsteps of what he's doing.
He's loving what he's doing.
Yeah.
And more than that, I get to witness him because he's got a little part-time job that essentially is in this industry, and he's so bloody good at it.
Yeah,
like
I know.
he's so good. And so my heart just swells with joy when I witness that, when I see him in his superpower, and it is a superpower. Like he's next level for this stuff, right? I just love it. And I'm not swelling with love from a parent's point of view. I'm just swelling with love
for him.
Yeah, for witnessing it, for seeing anyone with superpower. I mean, it's a bit like going and seeing live music, and you just see someone who's just so kick-ass at what they do, and you are just so overjoyed. It's almost like it's like someone's hit your joy button, and you're just completely overwhelmed with joy, and the love just spreads, and you just go, oh, it's amazing seeing people in their superpower.
Yeah.
And so that's what it's like when I witness him.
Yes.
And to some extent, you know, my daughter as well, as she has had a few challenges just with timing, and I always trust that the universe, you know, has some intention about where things don't flow.
Yes.
And so maybe there's a bit of quiet that needs to happen. Maybe there's a bit of recalibration that needs to happen. Maybe another opportunity is about to come. And she's, in terms of the school of life, and I think, again, 5 years, you know, we really have beautiful perspective on the potency of the school of life.
It's everything. It's absolutely everything.
Everything else you can learn.
Yes.
Right? And you'll
when
learn
you're
it as
ready.
you need to. But the lessons she has called in from the school of life have far outweighed anything she would learn in traditional school. And for that, I celebrate it. And I keep, every time she comes into me with whatever the latest stress is, and she's in tears because she's really great at moving her emotions and showing her emotions, I just keep saying to her, you know, you get to learn this now. You get to learn this at 15. I had to wait until my 40s to learn this stuff.
Yes.
So let me help resource you so you can move through this stuff. And she, you know, listens to some of it, and some of it she tries and it doesn't work for her. And I say, okay, we're going to find a different way. But she's working that out. But I think the thing that I love about that as a progress report sort of note is that I am rejoicing in witnessing her find out about how she's going to do life. And I think she'll be incredibly well resourced by the time she, you know, the universe sort of assembles to support her in whatever it is she's meant to be doing. And I actually don't know what that's going to be.
No, and we don't need to.
I'm excited.
This is the thing. We don't need to.
No.
But the way that we do direct, a lot of families direct their kids through a certain path, there's certainty in that path.
Certainty.
So sitting with that uncertainty is really uncomfortable. But when you start to learn to trust that things will work in the way that is right for that individual child, that's why your heart swells, because you know their future is bright. You don't know in what way, but you know that they're being resourced, they're gaining all the tools that they need to succeed in life.
That's right, exactly. And it's interesting, you've used a couple of words that I think I just want to draw people's attention to. You've used the word certainty, you've used the word safety, and there was another one that you used in relation to safety.
Yep.
And why I want to bring that into your awareness,
Might be comfort.
Comfort, thank you. Comfort, certainty and safety. And so let's just take a moment to let those sort of just ruminate around us, ruminate in our mind, ruminate in our body, and see how they sit.
Yeah.
And often I think as adults, because we're in this, particularly for the mums,
Yes.
they're generally in this space of being the provider
Yeah.
of the family's emotional well-being.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
you know, the kind of operations manager of all the
Yes.
stuff that happens at home. So the idea of certainty, comfort and safety is highly attractive.
Very. It makes our job so much easier.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah.
But what I'd love to do is take our listeners to a place where they're holding their child, brand new baby, and you have the three wise women in this case walk in, and one is bestowing a gift of safety, one is bestowing a gift of certainty, and one is bestowing a gift of comfort to that baby. I would challenge any parent to say, thank Christ you rolled up with certainty, comfort and safety. Because when you hold your newborn child, the field of potential experiences is blown open.
Yes.
You're looking at this human that went from a few cells into something with fingernails and eyebrows and makes a whole lot of noise. And you just can't quite imagine what lies ahead for them. You can't even fathom the world they'll be in. And we certainly are on the precipice of seeing massive wholesale changes as AI gets just so rapidly upskilled and people are in a frenzy to understand and adopt it. So we don't even know what this world's going to look like in 5 minutes, let alone 20 years.
Yeah.
And do we want to wish upon this child who could have all of the experiences in the world in this beautiful skin sack of ours, safety, comfort and certainty? Oh my God, what a snore fest. Like, we're here for life.
Yeah, we're
right?
here for the richness of life.
We're here for life, and we
Yes.
don't bring children in to create a sense of comfort and certainty and safety. We bring them in to experience this wondrous, tactile, sensory experience that we get to drive with this amazing skin sack, and we're here for that. And
Yeah,
we lose
totally.
sight of that as parents because,
do.
again, we're looking
do.
for our own
Comfort, safety and security.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things we've learned as parents over the last 5 years is surrendering and trusting that things will work out just as they need to work out for each of our children, even if their journey looks completely different.
Yeah. Even if their journey's short.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
I think we need to be okay with all the outcomes.
And again, that's that safety thing too, isn't it? Because when we have fear, we hold on even tighter to those
Absolutely.
things.
And that works out so well for people.
It's
that was sarcasm,
Yes,
by the way.
it doesn't help the children.
No.
It doesn't help the children. Like, we just have to have that belief that their journey is theirs.
Yeah.
And that we love them unconditionally on that journey. We're there to help them when they ask for it because it's, depending on the age of the children, even young toddlers don't want to be told what to do. They want to work things out for themselves. They want to experience it for themselves.
And especially the headstrong ones.
Yeah.
I mean, they tell us to sit down and,
Yes.
get out of the way very promptly.
Yeah, and we just see them as being badly behaved rather than, actually, I know what I need. Please let me do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, those three words are, I think, are really ones that we've really understood the value of over the last 5 years. And I think I believe our kids have got that message too.
Yeah.
And the witnessing that we have by witnessing them in those challenging times, I keep thinking, they come to you, they know they can come to you,
Yes.
they can talk it through if they want to, but we give them full permission to make their own decisions. And
I'm
to work it
surprised
out.
they haven't called me. They usually would call me every 10 minutes
Yeah.
when I leave home. So
And they haven't done that
They definitely
today.
feel, well, yeah, that's right. They definitely feel like they can get in touch.
Yes.
One thing that I will just share that I would, I think just what I love about this is there's an opportunity just to celebrate the unknown destinations you could end up with.
Absolutely.
So Quanta Kid 3 has a natural penchant for math, just has a kind of sciencey brain. Yeah. And I was sort of encouraging him to move into 3D printing stuff. He seemed like he had an interest in design, and then it just didn't go anywhere, right? Yeah. I took my foot off the pedal with, applying any pressure with that, and it just kind of evaporated.
Yeah.
And then what happened was he got an opportunity to do some work experience plumbing, ostensibly to climb under houses, I think, because he's smaller.
Yeah.
But so he's been learning a few things around that, and he's learning from people who are highly tactile, kinesthetic learners, and just throw themselves into these experiences of learning. And so they're really great as mentors for homeschoolers, because homeschoolers by and large are often kinesthetic as well.
Yes.
And they love to deep dive into learning as well, and just get to their saturation point, wherever that is. And so he now is interested. I mean, he's only 13, so we've found out he's boxed out of any option to be an apprentice because he's too young. And the idea of him looking at an apprenticeship in a year and a half's time, it sounds really far away because of just all the exponential growth that happens within that time when they're that age. Teenagers are such rich homeschooling kids, because when they find what they're interested in, they have that more adult kind of mentality of they just chuck themselves into it.
Let's just make it happen.
They don't feel limited by it. They don't kind of go, oh, look, I'll just do half an hour of this learning today. They're like all in. And their comprehension is good, and they've got all the basics sorted out. So it's really, I'm curious to see where that's going to go. But the skill set that he's picking up and the confidence around that, I mean, he was correcting my corking the other day, and I'm like the corking queen in our household.
You are.
So I was like, sit down, little one, right? You can learn from this master. But it was really interesting. He came to me with that kind of confidence. And I was just like, I would never have predicted he would get into something like plumbing, but it's just lighting him up. So watch this space and we'll see what happens. But I can tell you right now that 5 years ago, I wouldn't have predicted he would be going anywhere near things that involve toilets and stuff like that. So,
although he's good at cleaning them, he's a good cleaner.
He's good, and I think it's actually very well rounded to go from installation to cleaning. But I want to offer that just as a perspective, again, as a report card or a report check-in that I couldn't have predicted it. And if I had have actually tried to, I probably would have said he wouldn't be into it. And I wouldn't have encouraged it. But instead what I do is I look for where those opportunities come up. And then I wholesale hand it to them. So I might just inquire sometimes, and that's essentially what happened. This beautiful person, plumber, came up to me and said, do you reckon that he'd be interested in learning stuff? And I went, I actually don't know, so I'll just ask him. I said, I'm not going to answer on his behalf. I've got no idea.
You're very good like that.
And so, I left it with him. He got in touch, and then next thing you know, he's doing work experience. And he's like, that was so much fun. And so I just thought, if I had have put my own judgment within that, it might not have happened. And who knows where it'll go. But what fantastic skills. How practical.
And this is the thing, the life skills are everything. And if I reflect then also on my son, he did some building work, if you remember. It feels like a lifetime ago,
feels like a million years ago.
But, he did some work experience for 2 different builders at the time. Really loved it. Really enjoyed it, because he really... And I think what all of these little experiences do for them is it helps them understand who they are. It helps them understand what they like doing, what lights them up, what interests them. So even though my son didn't go into building... it's actually given him a great deal of confidence, like it might with yours, that there's another skill set that they've now got in their toolkit. They may not need it all the time, but it could come in really handy down the track, or they might expand on it in a completely different way. And so I think just giving them those sort of opportunities for whatever lights them up in those moments is really important. And if they change their mind, which can happen, and we need to allow for that pivot to happen, because they're still only young.
That's right.
And they don't have to stick to it. But if they're still learning something, those life skills are, you talk to anybody who learnt life skills at an early age, they are grateful for those opportunities.
Absolutely. And one of the things, why I was laughing about that was that your son was saying to me the other day about how he plans to build his own house. And I'm like, it's not even a barrier to him. It's not like I'm going to get someone to build my house.
No, I'm just going to do it myself.
I'm thinking about I might just build this. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Okay.
Exactly. And so that's where the confidence comes in. And so whilst he's not in the building industry, folks, he he still has a very keen interest and a confidence of his resourcefulness and his capabilities in different areas, and it's gold.
Yeah.
So that's the 5 years on in the homeschooling experience for us as well.
So it's going all right.
It's going really
Our
well.
report card is okay.
Yeah.
None of them are on the streets.
None of them are on the streets. They're not homeless. They're not, failing at making friends or struggling to know what they want to do. That's the other thing. I think what it's given my son particularly is that when I think I said it earlier actually, he was had no idea what he wanted to do. None when he was in at school. And now he's got that purpose. And that sense of having a purpose in life is so powerful.
Yep.
Just some direction.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be his forever direction.
But self-directed and
self-directed.
And how we celebrate that for them, because you can see the difference. So I guess if you're sitting on the fence out there in podcast land, just find some comfort in, two mums that literally just made it up as we went, but we hung on to our foundational our foundations and our foundational beliefs. And that was, I think, it's a bit like having a faith, isn't it? So
it is,
you put your faith in those belief structures and they become where you make your decisions and so forth. And as a check-in, it's felt really good. I have to say, we don't on paper look like we're kicking all the goals, but I think this work in progress is actually, it's really looking up. It's really looking good. And the most important thing, which is actually what I used to say to my kids when they were in school, right? When they'd bring back their reports, and their reports would be, whatever they were. Yeah. I mean, primary school, seriously. Don't get me started on reports in primary school. OMG. Anyway, they brought their reports back and, they would say, oh, I got a whatever in English or math.
They'd always look at grades, wouldn't they?
Well, I just said to them, I really don't give a crap about your grades, to be honest. That is one unit measurement as far as I'm concerned, based on one clinician making that call as well, right? Because the teacher is making this assessment. Yeah. And are you good people? That's what I care about. Are you happy with yourself? Yeah. Are you happy with what you're doing with your life?
Are you giving your best?
Well, I don't even care if they give their best because, to be honest, if they're having a crap day, then give me 100% of what you are. Like if that's crap, then that's crap. But don't undersell yourself, and do be kind where you have those rough days. I actually don't even mind about any of that stuff, but be good to yourself. Yes. Like that's the whole point of being
love
here.
Yourself. Yeah.
That's it. So, even within school there was that communication around, just taking pressure off grades. But I have to say, living in the grade-free environment, highly recommended.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because there's nobody knows ourselves like ourselves, and a lot of people are very big self-critics.
Yes.
And so as soon as grades come into something like that, it can be very, very damaging.
Of course it is. And there's no gold star for hating yourself.
No, it doesn't help you get through in life. That's for sure.
It does not.
Yeah. So I think we're doing okay.
Well, congratulations to you, parent. You've done very well, and you get a most improved tick on your
most
scorecard.
Improved. Yeah, and I still, it goes back to role modelling this. When we believe in our kids, they'll believe in themselves as well. And when we give them freedom to explore, they'll give themselves freedom to explore. So it really starts with us. And that's what our Take the Leap program's definitely all about, isn't it? It's about starting with the parents, because there's so many out there asking all these big questions, and sometimes you've got to take that leap of faith.
Yeah, and can I just say in closing that if you are feeling the pressure, just take the pressure off. Or take the pressure down, as Johnny Farnham would say. But just take it down a notch. Yeah. But go easier on yourself and go easier on your child, because you will always only be their parent, first and foremost. And that role is not taken by anyone else. So that is the most sacrosanct role that we have, and it is not to be their teacher. It is to be their parent first and foremost.
Yes.
And to find ways to create our own comfort, certainty and safety without
putting that on our kids.
without taking away from their life experiences.
From their experiences, absolutely.
Beautiful, Quanta
Yeah,
folks.
thanks for being with us. It was a beautiful time to reflect on just what we've done.
We've got more cool conversations coming up this year. We're excited. We've got a few people on the board that we're excited to have conversations with.
Yep.
And we're so grateful for our community. If you want to hook in with us, get in touch at quantamama.com, and we will see you very soon.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for being with us. Bye.
Hey, Quanta folks. You know, the conversations that we have about alchemising education are underpinned by our amazing Take the Leap course for parents, which is all about deschooling the parents. If you're keen to deep dive more, then check out the quantamama.com website and find the Take the Leap course. This course is beautiful because it will give you an opportunity to examine where your programs are, where you're creating limiting beliefs and expectations for your child, and it ultimately frees you to be the best advocate for your child that you can be, and that's all of us can ever want for our children, just to love, nurture and watch them become the most incredible individuals that we already know them to be. So more info, head to quantamama.com.